Yo guys, Theo here, Uncommon Sense, out here to enjoy the morning sun while it's still a thing here in Sweden. It's the effects of the sun and the duration of it is getting less each day. So we have to capitalize on these days, you guys. Very important. So I'm out here today to tell you that I was wrong about Cole Robinson's low protein, high fat, high salt keto diet as the best natural bodybuilding diet. I'm kind of kidding. I wasn't wrong. It's just that I've had some time to think about it after he first put that out, and I made a couple of response videos, and I listened to some, I interacted with the people. I was reading the comments, and I've just been thinking and comparing it to what I do, because I am a natural bodybuilder, and I recently went on a bulk too, to actually put on the mass. And so what I've noticed is that what I tend to think is that when you get into this and have the kind of growth mindset that I do, and you know that you don't truly know what works and what's true, what is the best way to do things until you try them for yourself. That you have an experience, you can trust someone and think that what they're saying is making sense, but if you try it and something else happens, if it doesn't work at all, or it just happens slightly differently, you're gonna update your view and like, nah, that wasn't actually true at all. Or I guess it was true, but I don't think it's the best. Like with what I'd say, for instance, about this keto low protein diet, like, yeah, I think you can build muscle on it, sure. I don't think it's the best. And so I've noticed, you see the way I fast, like I learned a lot from Cole. I still agree that the salts are important, but I've also come up with, like, maybe for some kinds of fast it would actually be good to have this sun soda that I had, the 50-50 coconut water and orange juice plus the sodium, like don't completely fast, but be on an extremely low calorie intake for a few days and basically do a fasting mimicking diet like that. I noticed that for certain purposes and for certain people, I think that's superior to only having the snake juice. I've been experimenting with having some supplements sometimes on the fast. Do you see that I don't go like, no, but you're supposed to only have the salts. That's what the guy said, the snake diet guy said, that you can only have the salts. It's like, no, I hear his idea. I think that's great. In certain circumstances, for certain people too, I think there's a whole lot of nuance here. I think there's not just fast this way or don't at all, right? I think you can do it many different ways. The same goes for diet. People, especially with a thing like keto, because ketosis is a thing, the people tend to become keto tards. And I say again that I clarified in another video that I don't mean that any person eating keto is a keto tard. It's just that, for some people, keto works well. This is what we have to realize too. We're individuals. It's not that there's the one perfect diet that just works perfectly for everyone. No, some people are going to do really well with ketosis and just have a much worse reaction to carbohydrates all over, even when they're not necessarily, food addicts and it triggers like sugar cravings or something. They might just, I know some people that fucking any type of carb, almost, not a huge amount, makes them crash a lot more, and they just like the focus they have when they stay on the keto most of the time, And for me personally, I do all the fasting and stuff, so I'm in and out of ketosis, even not when I'm bulking, I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but when I'm cutting or in a sort of maintenance routine where I'm highly active in the summer, I will, even eating carbs, I will enter ketosis at times, even with my intermittent fasting, and especially with a long fast too, right? But me personally, I feel no crash whatsoever when I eat healthy carbs from fruit, honey. I don't know what happened there. Now I'm gonna have to edit the video. Great. But when I eat the good kinds of carbs, I don't get any sort of crash from it. In fact, I get the opposite. Now that I've implemented my sun soda, that I drink it, I'm probably gonna stop. If I'd be in the middle of the winter in Sweden still, I would stop doing that, by the way. Eat a bit more seasonal. I'm trying now, but it's just that I'll be moving to Greece when you will have access to, the fruits and stuff will still naturally be available, which they would not be in Sweden, right? When I have my sun soda a few hours before considering my 8-hour intermittent fasting window open, and I drink this pre and intra workout, basically, I just feel super energized from it, the complete opposite. So, but what I want to come to is, I talked about in my bulking video that, in a sense, when you look at how IFBB pros, professional bodybuilders do it. They eat so fucking much carbs and often quite low fat, some of them too low, but you see that when they bulk and stuff, it's really the carbs they try to up. And I am a strong believer in carbs, that they have an anabolic effect in the body. They will actually, it's not the carbs that become the muscle mass, but they will trigger anabolic responses, the insulin, among other things, but growth pathways will get activated just from eating carbs, right? And you get the muscle glycogen and output like that. But with the IFBB Pro bodybuilders, they have unnaturally high carb metabolism. That's why they can eat so fucking much carbs and actually have some use for it. But us natural, noble natis, solar knights, that are not interested in that, we realize that carbs are good for us, but it's not that just maximizing carbs is what we gotta do. And it's when I now have been bulking, it's by adding a bunch of fat that I've been able to gain weight now, along with the carbs. You see, so my diet, for being such a highly active person that I am, and comparing it to the average population, my diet is kind of moderate carb. It's definitely not low carb, but you can't say that it's high carb in the percentages. Like, I can't count it now, but I guess I eat like 4,000 calories and probably between 200 and 300 grams of carbs per day. So it's like, on average, I guess, like 25% of my intake is from carbs. That's not all that much, right? I happen to eat quite high protein, which is not because I think I need it. It's just that when you eat a lot of animal products, for micronutrients as well, you're going to end up getting more protein than you need to build muscle. But, as long as you don't have kidney issues or something, it's not dangerous. It's just that some of that will be converted to glycogen as well, But then it's the fat. I really push the fat by just smashing a bunch of tallow and butter in the pan when I cook stuff. I opt for fattier meat cuts. I use more Greek yogurt for my breakfast than lighter dairy, that like kefir, that I will do when I maintain or cut. Yeah, it's really this, by adding a bunch of fat. And fat is anabolic as fuck because it's so high calorie, right? But the thing I don't get is why it would be so good to be in keto and completely avoid the carbs. I'm sure you miss some of these, just triggering some of these anabolic pathways in the body, but also the output, right? The muscle glycogen, you don't get as much from the keto. And then, okay, so it's suboptimal, and then by just smashing fat, in my opinion, suboptimal, and then by just smashing fat, you end up in a surplus, and if you train well, you're still gonna build muscle, right? But what I just wanna do is take that, just have some carbs in still. Fuck the ketosis. I don't understand why that's so important. I've been gaining a few kilos now. Do you think it looks like it's just fat? I now weigh like 83-ish on average instead of like 81. I've put on 1 or 2 kilos since I started bulking, They look like, just because I eating the carbs, I eat the honey, I just got so it's all fat. All fat I put on. So it's like, because that was Cole's idea when in the title, he called it like the best natural bodybuilding diet, that it is that. And in the video, it was more that he thinks it's the best natural bodybuilding diet because you stay shredded, you put on muscle only. First of all, I don't believe that. There's nothing magic about keto. If you were to fucking get enough fat in you, like you eat 9,000 calories of fat each day, you just pour oil down your throat, you're not gonna stay shredded. I'm sorry, nothing magic about the keto like that. And the same thing goes that if you, like me, you sleep well so that your body mainly burns through fat and builds muscle throughout the night. They're like, the worse you sleep, the more stressed you are, the worse that ratio is. You eat well so that as much of the food as possible, even when it's carbs, get used productively for energy repairing and building, not for just storing as body fat, right? And you get sunlight to, keep your hormones in check. Still, again, same thing with stress and higher testosterone so that you build more muscle and this, and you train fucking well. And you eat in you eat big, but in a calorie surplus. It's again, you're not gonna, with these high quality foods and this lifestyle, you're not gonna put on a bunch of fat just because it's carbs. That's a lie. So you see that I'm not really changing my view on the whole thing. I still stand by the fact that, yeah, you could build muscle on a keto diet, and it's just that I don't think it's optimal. And I just want to make the point that it doesn't have to be like, yeah, no, I'm keto, or no, just high carb. I keep the fat low. It's like, why not both? And I'll tell you right now, how it's ended up with, what made me think of this is a bit, is again that I realized that even though I'm pro carbs, again, for my metabolism and activity, kind of moderate carb intake, and it just worked out naturally that my last meal of the day is the smallest because there's no carbs. Like the first meal you can see in my Solar Night diet video, but it's a solar shake, you know, bunch of Greek yogurt, honey, protein, berries, nuts, cocoa flakes, energy bomb in there, right? And then the second meal is something like potatoes or rice with some kind of beef, often beef, but now I've upped it to like the mixed, like minced pig and cow, because it's higher fat, to get the calories up, you know. And for the last meal, I make some kind of omelette most of the time, like 6 eggs plus whatever, like plus salmon a couple times a week, plus halloumi, plus mozzarella, something like that. And I might, depending on how much sun soda I drank earlier in the day, if it wasn't much, I might have a glass of juice there for some carbs, but basically otherwise just a keto meal, right? I just like it because it's close enough to bed that it makes sense to have it a bit smaller, and I don't really feel like I need those carbs anymore. I start having some carbs pre and intra workout. I have it with my 2 meals to come that are the biggest, and I have a smaller lower carb meal at night, or even 0 carbs sometimes, you know, because I don't feel like I need more carbs then. It's still the fat, it's the fat that helped me make up my surplus, but it's not the keto. Do you understand? The carbs help with the anabolic processes and the drive, the output, and the fat help make up the the calorie surplus. And then I just gotta say that I'm not a fatophobe at all. I hope you get that. If you can tell that I do add a lot of fat. It's just that I'm just not a huge fan of keto, like as it would, you know, for me personally, and just like that it would be such an obvious great thing that everyone should do it. No, I know some people that do well with it, and I wouldn't tell them to change anything. Fat is important though. It's extremely important for the hormones, testosterone and that. But the carbs are important too, you guys. Like for performance, now we're talking about building muscle and that, but even for a lot of people, it's not going to be good to be keto long term. For some, it's going to be, but for some, it might shut down their thyroid, their metabolism might go to just hell. Some women even lose hair long term on keto, so just think about that. Okay, I think that's it. I think I got out my little updated view, so now I have to put it together with a first 4-minute clip. But anyway, please let me know what you think in the comments. Have you adjusted your view listening to me and Cole? What's your take on this? Does keto work well for you? What's your experience? Please let me know. Please comment anyway, guys. All comments and likes help support the channel, so it's very much appreciated. Trying to get the tempo up here. We have 10K is our goal before the year is over. 1/3 of that is reached right now in like 3 years, so it will be symbolic. We just fucking level up the growth together, guys. Please consider becoming a patron, supporting me so I can make higher quality and quantity videos. Link is in the description. You can support me for as little as $1 per month. I'd appreciate more, but if everyone did $1, you know, we'd be set. I'd be having a nice income. So please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, mental health, stoicism, philosophy, all the kind of cool shit, guys. All right, I will see you later. Peace.